because when you work for someone, you have to follow their rules. But if you set a path for yourself, then you can follow your rules. And then you can go out and do what you love to do. And I'm a person that I live my best life when I do something for myself, for my community, or I can wake up the next day and say, yay, I did that. That was amazing. I made them money, or I raised them money. Not for the company, because they're $1 billion corporation. But you guys aren't. You'll never see that. But they got it. So when I go out and I do stuff for anybody, people, Miss LaShawn, whomever calls me, I'm happy. Because I live, because it fills my spirit, right? It's not all about the money for me, because that'll come. However, my spirit at the core has to be happy. I'm one of those people who thrive off happiness. Like, it's interesting, I get up at, and she'll tell you, I can wake up at 5 in the morning, and first thing I do is I thank the Father, and I meditate. I go out to the lake, and I look at the lake, I breathe in the air, and I just thank God for the wonders that He does. I talk to the ancestors. Ancestors are people that have moved on in life, right? I talk to them. I ask them for guidance and for wisdom. I'm raising a boy. So of course I don't want my son to go out and have a hoodie on and something happens and it shakes my world. So I have to protect him through my prayers that I do. And that has been my life goal. So granted, acting and modeling, it was good. It paid great. Interesting thing about me is that I save well. So that money that I made there, I still got it. So I can pour into you all, right? Please don't ask me to fill out an application to work for anybody, because I won't. I'll come, I'll meet you, I'll be respectful. I'll give you eye contact, but then I'll let you know respectfully, I'm going to have to decline. I love what you're doing in your organization. However, it just doesn't feel right for me. So,
Mr. Kramer? Can you do me a favor? Can you actually come up to this floor? To this side? I'm just gonna be from the side.
She can come up here, because I'm gonna go.
No, because it's for Jamal's here. Hi. Hey. Get off. All right. So, okay. Sit here. All right. So we're going to have to do things a little bit differently. I am actually going to ask our next two guests to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about them. I know Jamal just got here. I'll give you a few seconds. Would you prefer if I call you Shanice or Miss Smith?
Shanice is fine.
Shanice, okay.
Hold on. I'm sorry, because we all sitting in front of this young man.
Yes.
Can you swing around? I can't.
How about Zach? Come this way. Come with me, baby. Trust me, if anybody is flexible, it is Zach. This young man is going to be a phenomenal public speaker with that.
Amen.
Thank you,
Well,
Zach.
hello everyone. I am Shanice Smith, and I am a small business specialist at U.S. Bank. I have been doing it for 5 years. I started out as a bank teller and ended up being promoted to a small business specialist. I guess you could say, for me, becoming a small business specialist, it wasn't something that was planned. It was kind of like a accidental thing, which is usually how most things happen. But I would say it's been pretty good, just to learn from being a bank teller to becoming a business specialist.
Okay, awesome, amazing. Now, you said that it was an interesting journey. Why was it so interesting? What happened? Tell us the truth. Give us the tea.
I'll start with, I started working at the age of 15, going all the way to Six Flags, just because I was really eager to make my own money. So started out traveling from Chicago all the way to Gurnee on a metro train, taking 2 buses. Then I ended up working at Sears as a fine jewelry sales associate, so I was selling jewelry. And then something just told me, you know what, let's apply to a check casher. So I applied to PLS, and that's really how I ended up getting into banking. Just starting out as a CSR, a customer service representative at PLS, and then from there it took off. So in high school, I always stated that I wanted to be like a nurse, so that's why I say it was interesting that I ended up being in banking instead. So yeah, it's pretty fun.
I love that. So it's safe to say that sometimes life gives you a
It
different
takes you in
role.
a different direction sometimes.
And that's
you just
okay.
gotta follow the path. So sometimes you may start out wanting to be one thing, and you may end up being something completely different. So it's okay to explore different options. Like, don't just settle for one thing. If it's something else that you're interested in, I always say go for it. There's no limits to what you can do.
Amen. Jay. She done preached the word into y'all. I hope y'all receive that. All right, next, would you like me to call you Jamal or Mr. Jackson Esquire? What was
Jamal is fine.
it?
So what's this something just general introduction?
Tell them about you, what you do, and the word of the day I forgot to tell you, Shanice, is confidence. So
You need a lot of that.
yeah, tell us how you built up the confidence in your industry. I know you have a special part of your story with that.
So my name is Jamal Jackson. I am an attorney. I'm not like the attorneys you see on TV that go in court and argue. I'm a business attorney, so I do a lot of reading. I review a lot of paperwork for different business purposes. It's funny, you were talking about your first job. My first job, when I was thinking about it, I thought was bagging groceries. I didn't have anything nearly as exciting as Six Flags. But then my actual first job was like at 8, and it was delivering paper newspapers. And I thought, do y'all know what those are? Like, have y'all? Have you? Has anyone in here ever you've read a physical newspaper? A couple people. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, I didn't even know if those were still in rotation. So I started out after college. I started out my own law firm, working with a lot of small business owners. So anybody in here know what Culver's restaurant is? Okay, so so I actually, the whole drive down here, I was on the phone with one of my clients who operates seven different Culver's restaurants. So he has 4 here and then 3 in Florida. I also work for what's called an engineering firm, and so engineering is a part of construction. So everybody in here knows who Barack Obama is. All right, so everybody knows that they're building a pretty significant size building for him in the city of Chicago, the Obama Presidential Center. You're gonna have to.
I just got him.
Oh, okay, all right. So the firm that I work for, I'm an in-house attorney now, and so I work inside of a business. And so they are one of the engineering firms that's leading that development. And so they did planning, they hired the construction people. So my job in my field is really interesting because you get to see a lot of what goes on in the back end of business deals. It is not anything that I'll say is glamorous as a kid, but it is a very, very important part of everything that goes on, from the shoes you all wear and the clothes you wear to the things you buy in the store.
Okay, all right. So, you've heard an introduction about what they do. Now I'm about to ask them, can you tell me your origin story? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. What was the one thing that happened to you that let you know and you're in the right place. I give you a few minutes. I give you a few. That one on the sheet. That one on the sheet. I had to throw you that curveball.
We all know that origin
That was
story.
not on the sheet, but I felt it in my spirit. Hey, I felt it in my spirit to ask y'all that, and it's something I know all of you know. But we walked through your career journey, and thank you so much. Thank you. I tell you, you're extraordinary. Absolutely.
Don't let anybody tell you different.
Y'all looking at the future star right here. I'm letting you know. He gonna be on somebody's TV screen, movie screen, real soon. All right, so give you a moment to think about that, and then from there we're gonna pick you back into like some of the challenges you faced and how you overcame them. Okay. So while you're thinking about that, I just want you guys to raise your hand if you feel like you absolutely know what you want to be when you grow up or even right now. I know we went through this before, but they don't know y'all. All right? So let's go around the room. What are we about to do? Rapid fire. Rapid fire. Okay? So keep those hands up. When I call on you, then let it down. All right, Aiden, I believe you're going to start us off strong. Come on, Aiden. Boom. Let's go.
I want to be an architect and myself.
I want to be a pilot.
Marine biologist.
Just, oh, I didn't see you work.
Hairstylist.
Come on, Justin.
I want to be a photographer.
Game maker and Evo champions.
Computer
But, so I'm sorry.
Thomas, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
Game maker and Evo champion.
Music artist.
Okay.
Fine art.
Then I'll come back to y'all. Come on.
Hairstylist. An NBA player.
Okay.
A CEO.
Wait, CEO of what?
Like my own business.
What kind?
Um,
You still working on that? Lord still planting seeds? Honestly. Let's go. You don't know? I thought you had your hand up. Yes.
I did something else.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else want to add on? All right. So, any one of you guys want to start off and let us know your... Oh, okay, Ryan. Ryan want to hit in the club?
Oh, no. I was just, Mr. White.
Time to go play your instrument. It gets you a lot of money in college.
What is
Jessica, what do you play? The flute?
The clarinet.
Clarinet? Okay.
I played the clarinet for a brief stint because I wanted to play the saxophone, but they didn't offer it when I was at the place where I was taking the lessons. And then I just stopped because I wanted the saxophone. I didn't want clarinet.
I understand.
They're so similar, you can take them both now.
I was not told that. I didn't.
Listen to this.
Well, so I was not told that, and I'm a huge Kenny G fan now.
Yeah.
Right? So
soprano
when I listened to his
saxophone, yeah.
music and I heard what he could do, I was like, right. Nobody tell me this when I was a kid.
Soprano saxophone and clarinet is basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So I've had a couple clarinetists play soprano saxophone in my jazz band for that. And yeah, a lot of clarinetists switch over to tenor saxophone too.
Yep.
It's very, very similar. So
Yeah, I was told after the fact.
oh, I'm sorry. You can still take it now.
You know what? I could.
Why not?
Why not?
I believe in you.
Why not? I believe in you.
Year of the saxophone. I hear it coming. All right, thank you, Mr. White. All right, so quickly, you heard what he said? He didn't know. Someone on his journey, an adult, did not let him know. Well, that gentleman just let him know in 5 seconds. Sometimes adults don't know everything. It's up to you to make sure that you reach out to as many people as you can that can help you build the best life for yourself, okay? And yes, it's possible. My brother Darius started playing piano full time. He loved it so much. Started school, working on a master's in it now, just randomly. It's bringing him so much joy. All right, let's swing back. Let's talk about your origin story, or you can tell me some road bumps that you hit on your journey as an entrepreneur. I'm gonna start with Miss Earaina. No? Okay. I'm gonna start.
No.
No.
I'll take the ball. I'll
Okay.
pass it.
All right, pass the ball. All right, let's put a 3-minute cap on this part. Yeah.
All right, so we'll do the Toastmasters 3 minutes. All right, so I didn't necessarily start into what I did, but I can definitely do the origin story and to where I am now within about 3 minutes.
Okay.
I wanted to be a doctor growing up, okay? Clearly, I'm not in here in scrubs. Right? And what that means is that life will cause changes, things that you might start to learn if you continue on your education onto the architect or marine biologist or the MBA side or the film production or the game production. Life can throw you changes, or you might get into that field of learning and say, hey, I don't want to do this. So really quickly went to college for biological sciences, started off as a physiology major, basically learning about the body, and decided that I didn't like calculus at all. And I needed to take Calc 2. I barely made it through Calc 1, okay? And I said, you know what? We're gonna take a shift. So I picked up biology, and at that point, I said, you know, maybe this medical thing isn't for me, because it was actually my mother who wanted me to be a doctor. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. What I used to do growing up, going to school, literally you guys' ages, I would sell candy, baseball cards, basketball cards. So I was always in sales in some way, shape, or form as a child, but I wasn't guided in that direction, right? So little lesson. Whatever it is you have a passion for now, start looking at that as what you may want to do as you get older. Fast forward into college, and I got introduced to the field of insurance through legal insurance. Basically, attorneys like Brother Jackson here, where they have a monthly fee, and a person would pay a monthly. Let me ask really quickly, who's familiar with what insurance is? I might need 4 minutes, all right? I might need the extra minute. Insurance is basically where you provide a contract, right? I'm the insurance company. I provide a contract to you. You pay me a certain amount of money per month, and then whenever the need is for my services, I'm gonna do them based on our contract, right? That's insurance in a nutshell. So with health insurance, you pay a certain dollar amount per month, and when you need to go to the doctor, you pull out that card and it's there. Right? Car insurance, when you all start driving, you pay a certain dollar amount per month, and if you have an accident or someone hits your car, then that company comes in and takes care of that for you. It's all based on a contract, right? So I didn't know that that was going to be my calling until, fast forward out of college, I found myself into health insurance about a decade ago, 10 years ago, and ended up at this company called I don't even want to say the name of it, right? But it was a corporate position. And much like Earaina, it didn't speak to my soul, but I was really, really good at it. Really good at it. Meaning, number one out of 100 and something people good at it. Which is why I like to bring my lovely little QR code, because I can talk about being number one, but you can scan this QR code and see my previous results to know that I was actually number one. Right, again, brag on yourself, because you can't always count on somebody bragging on you.
You better preach that word.
So with that, I worked with that company for 3 years. I went from the top agent to the top manager to the trainer for the company. But they wanted me to do something in terms of training people on how to sell a certain product that didn't resonate with me. Right? I like legal, moral, and ethical. And even though what they were wanting me to sell and the way they were wanting me to train people to do it was legal, for me it wasn't moral and ethical. So I single-handedly trained my last group of 75 or some odd people, and said on November 1st, 2017, I'm out of here. And politely walked out, went and hung out at a restaurant down the street and let everybody come and give me my well wishes and all that good stuff. They've still talked about me to this day for, again, what I contributed to that company. But that, again, was my origin story of a company that wasn't resonating with me, where I figured that I can do it a better way. So I went out, I left that company, which was selling individual health insurance, and I planted my own flag at Superior Insurance Advisors. I replaced my income within about 90 days. And as I continued forward, we've talked about an adult not knowing something. As an adult, I didn't know that I can consult with companies based on my previous experience, and they would pay me for what I knew. So get this, I was making about $25 an hour, right? Does that sound like pretty good money? 25 bucks an hour? Ooh, somebody looked at it, right? And again, with all the respect, start where you are, right? So it's 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, or whatever, start where you are. I got an email one day from a consulting company that hired was called Expert Advisors. And honestly, let me see, this was 5 years ago. In my mid-30s, I thought it was a scam. Because what they told me was that I can set my own hourly rate. And the most they would let me set it for was $400 an hour. So what do you think I set that rate for? $400 an hour, right? I scheduled my first call. Again, I'm thinking it's a scam because I didn't know that this was something that I can do with my experience. So a little lesson, get some knowledge in a thing, and then you can go and sell that knowledge because people want to hear from you about what you know how to do. I took that first call, it was about 1 hour and 6 minutes. I'm like, okay, this is really gotta be a scam because nobody told me that I can pick up a phone, talk to somebody for an hour and make $400. Sure enough, we finished the call and I got an email with an invoice for $406.67. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I said, okay, this is where the scam part comes in. So they wanted me to enter my bank information. I said, okay, they're gonna try to rob my account. So I used Cash App, right? And I said, let me give them that information because they can't take anything from that. 7 days later, there was a direct deposit in my Cash App account for $406.67. I said, oh my God.
Do it, Jesus.
Right? Oh my God, this is real. So not only could I sell health insurance to individuals, I then began to consult also, which brings me into today, where I consult for companies on health insurance for their entire company, right? For the entire company. So instead of just one plan at a time, one plan at a time, one plan at a time, it'll be 50 people at a time. Now, if you can make $1 for selling, or just say $100, that's, you know, you can make $100 for offering one person one policy, or you can make $5,000 from offering 50 people a policy. Which one would you prefer? For the same work, right? So that's what brings me into today. It was working with a company that didn't resonate with my soul after taking a huge veer from science and doctor and all that stuff to something that I actually enjoyed doing as a youth, until taking, honestly, an email that I thought was too good to be true, because sometimes they are, but this one wasn't, that opened up my mind that I was worth that much and more. Pause. I'm well over my 4 minutes.
All right. One of the things that I want to point out is that he took a chance. Most people would have told him, don't do that, it's a scam, bro, don't waste your time. But he took a chance, and look where it got him, okay? You can take a chance, just be cautious while you do it. Who's next up for that? Which one of y'all want to take the lead next? I'm not even gonna look you out.
Wait, I'm gonna take this ball and pass it.
I can go and I'm off for y'all.
Oh, you got them all.
All right. Miss Shirley said she'll go.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So, as I stated, I went through different job fields before I actually got into banking. So, I came to US Bank in 2019 as a teller. And as a bank teller, basically you know, take transactions, withdrawals, deposits. You also open accounts. So as a banker, I basically took on the accounts that my coworkers wouldn't take on, like business accounts. So I had this one client, his name was Mr. McDonald, and he came in to apply for a business credit card. He had a beauty supply that he had been owning for over 15 years. So we did the application and it was declined. So he didn't get approved for the credit card. So what I ended up telling him was, we're gonna do some homework. Basically, I'm gonna give you a few things that you need to do in order to get you where you need to be. So he basically asked me like what it was that he needed to do. I gave him 3 things that he needed to do with his credit. And I told him to come back once it was done. So after he got it completed, which I had forgot we even had this conversation, he came back, he said, hey, I did everything you told me to do. Let's go ahead for this credit card again. So we submitted the application and it ended up being approved, and we also got him approved for a business loan as well. So for me, this was an eye-opener because a lot of people within the community aren't aware of how important credit is when it comes to personal living as well as business living. So that was my eye-opener to say, you know, there's plenty of other business owners that need this assistance too, who don't know that I can help. And so from that point forward, I just started assisting more business owners and ended up applying for the role that I'm in now as a small business specialist. And that's how I ended up where I am now.
Okay. So what was your biggest struggle with that transition?
The biggest struggle was basically learning about credit because, you know, coming up, you don't learn about credit or credit scores or how important it is to have these aspects as far as an individual. So that was the one thing that was a struggle, just learning it on my own because I didn't have a class to teach me or anything. So just doing that research and learning that, I would say that would be the biggest struggle. And how I overcame it was just doing my research and asking questions to individuals who are already in that field and just learning. So what do you do and how do I do this, or how do I get in this area? How do I get to where you are? So just asking questions is the best way to overcome and doing research.
Raise your hand if you've ever had a conversation with your parents about credit. Okay. Raise your hand. Okay, hands down. Raise your hand if you know what credit is. Okay, hands down. Raise your hand if you now will go home today and look up what is credit and what do I need to know. I like that hustling. All right, thank you. All right, that was wonderful. All right.
So it's funny because, you know, you talk about credit, and I call the credit bureau like the biggest scam in history. But one thing that I think is funny is that we are always told, at least I was told, to avoid credit cards, avoid not, you know, buying anything without cash or money that's already in the bank. And as you research, you'll find out that is incorrect. I had a friend that I went to college with who worked at a bank in high school, and so he knew the game. And so freshman year of college, he would get a credit. He had a credit card, like 2 credit cards, and he would buy like small things, snacks on the credit card and pay it off every month. And he had, and you all don't know the range, but the range goes up to 832. Yeah. And my friend who knew how to properly use credit ended up with like a 750 credit score by the time that we were halfway through our sophomore year.
My God.
Yeah. And then later on in life, as I started reading, I learned that as a parent, I could start building my children's credit at 13, so I can put them on my credit card, and they will have a history of credit by the time they turn 18, which is what I did.
Amen.
13. So I looked into that. They won't let you. Well, with the cars that I have, they said my son has to be 18 because I said I'm going to do that for him. But I called American Express and got it to override. You can get it overwritten. And when he turns 15, I can put him on my card so he can have credit started.
Yeah. So.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I got excited. I was like, wait.
Well, I've seen 13. So the 2 that I have on there are 13, but my other ones, I'm gonna have to because that's what I read, and that they start. So I have that 5 years of history when they turn 18. But anyway, sidetrack. I'll tell my origin story. So I let you all know I'm an attorney. And so my origin story that I'm going to tell is based on when I knew that I wanted to become an attorney. So I grew up in a single parent household. Me, my mom, and my younger sister, and then my mom had another child. But it was a struggle. We were very, very, very poor. I shared a bed with my sister for the longest time, and my mom slept on the couch because that's all that we could afford. There was a point in life when I was, I think, 7 or 8, when my mom started her own business. And my mom started up a wedding planning and floral business. And she was very proud of this business, had a business partner that she went into business with. And I quickly saw that excitement turn into frustration because a lot of times as Black business owners, you don't have the supports that you need, the resources. So you need insurance, you need a banker, right? Sometimes you need a loan and you need credit. But one of the things that I saw that was really absent was attorney, right? It is really important for businesses to understand the laws that are around and that involve operating a business. And I saw my mom struggle, and she eventually had to close the business down. But when I had a conversation with her a little bit later, like 3 or 4 years later, I learned some of the underlying reasons of why she had to close down. And one of the main reasons was that she didn't have an attorney that she could trust, and so there were business decisions that were made that didn't need to be made. I'll leave it at that. And so and as I got older and I looked into communities of color, I saw a lot of that. I saw that businesses just didn't have good attorneys. They didn't have good guidance. They didn't have good advice. And as a result of not having that advice, I saw a lot of other businesses that would open and then would close. And you know, as a business owner, nobody goes into business for it to shut down, right? You wanna open a business, you wanna grow a business, and then you wanna sell a business for as much money as you can, and then enjoy the money that comes from selling that business. So when I saw what was going on, and I saw that there were a lot of businesses that needed to be helped, I said I want to do that. I want to help those businesses. I want to be a resource to those businesses. And I've worked with a lot of small businesses throughout Chicago. And so my mom's business opening and closing and the stories around that, that's my origin story. But I will say that, earlier you said you didn't really want to be a doctor. That's what your mom wanted. Right. I knew since I was a kid that I wanted to be an attorney. My parents, my mom, at that time my stepdad, they did a lot to try and persuade me to not be an attorney. They wanted me to be a doctor. I couldn't stand science. I love science. I didn't like learning, right? I love what science does for the world. I don't need to be the scientist. So it's people will come and they will try to tell you to divert and to switch and to pivot and to do things that you know in your heart is not what you want to do. They wanted me to be a doctor. They even, there was one time where they even took out a phone book. Y'all know what a phone book is, right?
Yeah. It's a book with a list of contacts, like random numbers.
Yeah, alphabetical order, right? So,
Joking about that.
Yeah. So at one point, they set me down at the kitchen table and they put the phone book on the table and they told me to flip through and see how many attorneys were there. Essentially trying to say that there are so many lawyers, do something else. Obviously I didn't listen to that. There was another time where, in getting through high school, going to college, and then entering into law school, I had a lot of people who heard that I wanted to be a business attorney. I wanted to help business owners. And the response was, well, you should really become a criminal attorney and help Black people in the community who experience the inequities of the law, right? So being arrested, improperly, being falsely accused, going to jail. And my response was, that's not my passion. That is not what I want to do. And I also said that a lot of times individuals who find themselves having to be in that situation, who have done something to put themselves in that situation, are doing it because they don't have economic opportunities. They don't have other opportunities to go out there and make money. And so my goal has been to help businesses become sustainable so that they can continue to operate in business, so that they can hire more people from the community, so that they can bring more money into the community, so that people have more opportunities to make legal money. So I say that to say, along your journey, you will have people try to tell you that you can't make it to the NBA, or why do you just want to do hair? And that people will try to dissuade you from pursuing your dream. But if it's something that you want to do, put the work in, put the effort in, you do what you need to do, to make sure that you can brag on yourself. Because don't get out there bragging on yourself if you're not like that. But do what you need to do, put in the homework, pursue your dream, and make it happen, despite what other people say.
Okay. I love that. All right. And I just learned something about all of you guys that I didn't know, which is awesome. All right. So my next question for you all, and please don't raise your hand too fast about who wants to take this next. Oh wait, Brenda, did you get your time for your origin story?
It's okay.
No, it's
No,
fine. All right, your
no,
time.
no, listen.
Your origin story, please.
I spend enough time with them that we can just move on to the next.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let that pass. She come back every week. So. All right. So, what skills or qualities are most important for young people entering the workforce today?
I'll take it. I'll take that. Oh.
All right. 3
Oh,
minutes.
One thing that I think is major important for any young person that's entering into the work field, number one, presentation. Presentation is always important, right? You have to have confidence in yourself before you go into there to sell yourself, because what you're doing is selling yourself to a job. If you want a loan at a bank, you have to sell yourself. If you want this attorney to work for you, you need to sell yourself to him. If you want Mr. Flowers to work for you, you have to sell yourself. And none of these people are going to take you like, yo, what's up, cuz? Let me get a loan on my business. You get what I'm saying? They gonna look at you like, OMG, you wasting my time. I think, okay, yeah, and they're gonna throw whatever information you bring them in the garbage. So it's always good to have confidence in yourself, dress professional, and each one of these people, they can talk, right? So any crowd you put them in, they can sell themselves. And they're also going to take business cards. Because at the end of the day, they're going to go to their Rolodex. You know what a Rolodex is, yeah?
No.
Okay, so
It's somewhere you
we're going to go digital. We're going to go digital. I'll
phone
be there
book
with you.
on the phone contacts.
Yeah. Take a picture.
Go to your contact list.
Go to your contact list, and you'll find them, and you can call them. You develop a relationship. Building a positive relationship with anyone is always important, because you never know when you're going to need them. You never know when you're going to need her to do your hair, right? You never know when you're going to need the marine biologist to do something. You never know when you're going to need this young man over here to speak at one of your events. But you got that contact, and you can call him because you have a good relationship with him, because last week, y'all went and had lunch together. For what? You don't know. But y'all went and had a salad and talked, and so now you need him. He's going to be available for you. So that's something that you should always know to do. Presentation is important. Conversation is even more important. And having a positive attitude and outlook on whatever you do, super important. As for me, if the energy isn't right, I'm going to look at you. I'll have a smile. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, I can't stay here for a while. Thank you. Like, she don't have a good energy. I went to a job the other day. I think I came here after giving them their stuff because I didn't like the energy. And when I looked at the numbers, I was like, oh, they was trying to pay me this. Ooh. But their energy was bad. And energy is everything to me. And if I go into any environment, if I'm going to work with you, I have to feed off positive energy. When I come here, I love you all's energy. Hey, Miss Earaina, hey, baby, how you doing? I'm gonna go with them. I'm gonna go with them. I ain't getting paid, but I'm gonna go with them because they fill me up. And you will find people like I'm sorry, I'm Mr. Jamal said, you'll find people in your life that'll say, oh man, you can't do that. You can't dribble a basketball between your legs. How you going to the NBA? Huh? Or you can't even curl a hair. How you gonna be a hairstylist and you can't even put in a track right? Don't let that person bring you down. You have confidence in yourself first. You don't let anybody else feed your confidence. You feed it yourself, and then you go out there and you do whatever it is you need to do. Hey, but I think Miss LaShawn is giving me the preacher fingers, so.
That remind, y'all know what movie this, I know they don't. It's called Self-Esteem. Y'all don't know?
It's called esteem of your.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I'm sorry. You right. Alright, so anybody else, once again, the question is, what skills or qualities are most important for young people entering into the workforce today? Who's next?
So,
Oh, my last one. I saw that church hand and it scared me.
That's
But
all-
making
that's all
yourself marketable is very important because even though I left the job, I know I can go and fill out an application and have a job tomorrow because I'm marketable. I went to college. As a matter of fact, I went to 3 and I have over 10 certifications, so I know anything I want to do, whether it's, I don't know, dribbling the basketball, sewing a garment for you, curling your hair. I can do it because I'm marketable. So you always want to make sure you're making yourself marketable. So if someone says no, you can say, okay, thank you, shake their hand and go to the next one. Because somebody's going to want you. Somebody.
So what I will say is, I'll speak to kind of the other. You good? This letter look like you hurt your shin.
You okay, honey?
All right. Oh. What soccer player? Oh. You got lungs. You got a good win. Speaking to the other side of confidence a little bit. Know that. So have pride in yourself and know that you can learn and that you can do, but you have to remain humble, coachable, and eager to learn. One of the things that hurts a lot of young people entering into the workforce is that they are not coachable. They cannot take criticism or direction, and they think that they know everything. You have to know that there are people that will try to teach you and help you along the way, and just because they are telling you that there is something that you are not doing correctly, that does not mean that they're telling you that there's something that you can't do. Understand when people are trying to help you by pointing out your deficiencies, and then look at that and say, okay, well, this is something that I need to work on. Let me get better at it. Y'all know Kobe, right? Kobe, y'all probably don't know. Y'all from Chicago. Y'all gotta know Jordan too, right? Michael Jordan. Okay. Huh? What?
Yes, Kobe Bryant.
So Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. I'm not gonna say LeBron James because that's because
Oh, come on.
Dr. Jackson, this is Woodruff. Please make sure to tell your girls that the floor in the women's bathroom is wet in spots, and be careful not to fall.
Okay, y'all, be careful about the
Thank
bathroom.
you.
It's wet.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Do you know why those are names that will always be remembered in basketball? But why did they make basketball history? It was their work ethic. It was their heart. Michael Jordan didn't make the basketball team his freshman year of college. Like there were times, and Michael Jordan grew up. He had 3 older brothers that were always better than him until he made it to like his junior year of college. Like but they continued to work. They continued to put in effort, and they had a team of coaches around them that told them what to do, that helped to build them up in their profession, and they listened. And that is one thing that you all have to be willing to do. You have to be willing to listen. If somebody's telling you not doing something right, don't get any feelings and start pouting. Like, listen and take that in and then say, okay, well, I'm gonna do better next time. And as long as you're willing to continue to better yourself and to continue to improve your skill set, that's gonna take you very, very far in life.
Piggyback on a couple things you said. The work ethic of those superstars, a gentleman by the name of Tim Grover wrote a book called Relentless, and then the next book called Winning. Tim Grover was actually Michael Jordan's coach. So when Michael Jordan first started, he had a coach in the NBA. And this Tim Grover guy was a guy who had never coached any professional athletes before. So again, little lesson, just because you haven't done something at a major level doesn't mean you can't do it, okay? He coached the most notable basketball player in history throughout all 6 of those rings. He also coached Kobe Bryant. Again, his name is Tim Grover. But what he mentioned was the work ethic, and that comes from doing something consistently over time and having discipline to do it. So the skills and characteristics, I'll sum it up just really quickly. ABCs, D and E. ABCs, D and E. A for attitude. You need to have an attitude that says, I can. And as you continue to build that attitude over time, your B, belief, is gonna kick in. So now when you believe something, you actually have conviction, C, and confidence, C, and you begin to communicate, C, those things on a regular and consistent basis. Again, conviction and communication being the biggest two for me, is I had to believe that I can do it. So I was convicted at the point that I can actually go and talk to somebody about health insurance. But communication was that piece that I didn't have down so well in the beginning. Brother Jamal also mentioned that you have to be able to take somebody's constructive criticism. Real quick story. I used to be a janitor when I was in college, starting off selling legal insurance part-time for a company called Prepaid Legal. And I'm talking to somebody on the phone about this service. This gentleman, whom I did not know, said to me, man, if that was a business call, it sounded terrible. Terrible. Now this is also a janitor, by the way, who's listening to me work my part-time business as I'm finishing cleaning out somebody's office, that told me that I sounded terrible. I don't sound terrible now, do I? And it's only because I took his criticism with a level mindset, right? Before I was getting ready to, go 0 to 100 real quick. Y'all know what that means? Okay. I'm like, in my head, I went, whoo, hold on, bro. You don't know me. I'm from South Side Chicago. Don't talk to me like that. Right? And then I slowed down because I already began what's called personal development, right? So developing myself. I'd already begun having personal development, like readings and listening to different things that would help me to learn that there was more out there than, with all due respect, what you're gonna learn in the classroom, okay? And with that development, I took that feedback from him. It was no longer criticism, it was feedback on how I sounded on the phone, speaking in a business manner to somebody. And I went and joined this organization called Toastmasters. And for every week, for 5 years straight, I was at a weekly meeting. I missed 5 meetings, 5, over the course of 5 years. So every week I would practice speaking in front of people in small groups, like this, actually smaller than this. But now I'll speak in front of 500, 5,000, and it doesn't matter, right? I do what's called, I put my hand out like this, and that just says that I'm cool as a cucumber, okay? So it doesn't matter, right? That's one of those skills that you'll have to develop over time, is to speak, not just talk. Everybody talks, right? Once you start my 6-month-old just started saying da 2 days ago, so I'm like super excited. We go to the urgent care, sorry, side note, I love my children. We go to the urgent care yesterday because she had a fever, and she's in the lobby, she's like, that, and I said, you said it? The lady comes from out of the triage, and she's like, oh my God, she's talking. I'm like, yeah, did you hear that too? She's like, she definitely said data. All right, sorry, side note. But with that, everyone can talk. Not everyone can speak. And I want you all to get that there's a difference between the two. So just like it was shared earlier in terms of being able to prepare yourself and put yourself in the best position from a physical standpoint, you want, once they see you, right, on the outside, what comes out of you, my CEO, you want what comes out of you to match what they see on the outside. So characteristics, ABCs, D and E, attitude, belief, confidence, right, communication, conviction. D is the discipline, and E is excitement, right? Get excited about something, whatever it is. If you want to be a marine biologist, a zookeeper, right, a dog walker, a hairdresser, get excited about that and start communicating that to other people. Last story, because if you don't communicate it, those people that can help you won't. They won't. I was 9 years old in the barbershop, and a gentleman said to me, young man, it's a sad dog that doesn't wag its own tail. And I had no clue what that meant, right? No clue what that meant until I was in my 30s, right? A sad dog not wagging his own tail is a dog that's really, really happy, but you won't see him, you won't see that excitement, you won't see that enthusiasm. Bet I wag my tail now. All right, pass the ball.
I'm sorry, can just real quick, because I wanna make sure that this is very clearly communicated, because I don't think it always is. What is communication? Who else wanna- Communication is speaking, it is listening, it is body language. Everything about how you interact with somebody is communicating something. So you have to know when to speak and when to listen, when to push back and when to listen. And you have to know that if you are talking with somebody, but you're looking over here and you're looking with your head down, and when you're responding, you're talking like this, that is communicating something. That is communicating disinterest. So communication is about more than just the words that come out of your mouth.
That was definitely one of the skills that I was going to mention. Communicate. No, it's fine. Communicate, because it's something that everyone has basically emphasized on. Communication is a big thing, and don't always just like talk. Listen too, because you may be able to get information out of someone just by listening and asking questions. Asking questions is very important. Like, never feel like any question is the wrong question or a stupid question. You won't learn unless you ask questions. Another thing that I would say is a skill that you would need is to be consistent. Just because something doesn't go as planned when you start out, don't give up. Like, just keep going. You gotta be consistent at something in order to get better at it. So just be consistent, keep doing it. Sometimes things start off a little rocky, but most things do. You just gotta keep practicing and being consistent at it to get better at it.
I'm sorry, I'm right? Asking questions. Ask questions, yes. Ask questions. However, be willing to ask yourself the question first and seek the answer before you go and ask somebody else. One thing that I can't stand is when somebody comes and asks me a question that they could easily find out themselves.
You better preach.
So be willing to learn on your own and to take initiative to figure things out instead of bringing every question that you have to that somebody.
Critical thinking and problem solving.
Yes.
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
Critical thinking and problem solving.
Okay, amen. So if somebody came to you and asked you for a business loan, and they asked you, how can they Google how to do a business plan or anything like that?
So if they ask me as far as like how to apply for a loan, well, first I'm gonna ask them like, what type of business do you have for one? And then tell me more about your business, so that way I can direct you in the right area that you need to go. Because if you are coming in and you're saying, oh, you know, I wanna start selling bikes, but I don't have the money for it, and you know, my credit score is like this, but I need a loan. Like, at this point, it's like, okay, I can't really do much for you besides tell you like the steps that you need to do in order to get there. But you can't just go in and just expect, oh, I need a loan and I'm just gonna give it.
So
Just having that knowledge beforehand, yeah, having that knowledge beforehand and just thinking about what it is that you're trying to do and setting the game plan up for what you need to do to get there.
Okay. Let's say she finally gets me right, I give it just a little touch of sense. Just a little touch of sense, and I come on down to you, Brother Jamal, and I say, how can I make sure nobody steal my idea? And then you say, well, what idea? And I'm just like, just my business. What do you mean? Can't you help a sister out? Figure it out, man. Help me out.
Yeah. So if you are if you are going to ask a question and seek advice, you have to know the reason behind the advice that you're seeking, or the question that you are asking, right? Don't just talk just to hear yourself speak. Be intentional. Be very intentional. And when you become older and you enter into the workforce, being intentional is even more so important, because the folks that you go to as resources and the folks that you go to ask them of something, they are likely going to be busy people. And if you waste their time once, you will never get that time back. You will never get that opportunity back. Everybody, so every relationship that you establish, you build up what's called capital in that relationship. And that capital that you build up, it gives you the ability to ask for certain things, right? But you have to also give certain things as well. But when that capital is spent, that means that there is a much harder time getting anything out of that relationship. So you have to know that you can't waste people's time. So be intentional. Be intentional.
I love that. We only have a few more minutes for our open the floor up for questions, and also for you all, I want you to pick out your top 2 people that you felt paid the most attention during this, and they get a reward and a treat. The ones that communicated to you guys, they were interested. All right, but this last question, if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Read more. Real simple, now I'll 30 seconds this one. Most of the things, and again, with all due respect to school, I've got degrees and all that good stuff too, master's degree, great time in school. Certain things, marine biology, yeah, you're gonna have to go and get a degree for. Architecture, engineering, you're gonna have to go and get a degree for the most part. But when it comes to learning to lead, communicate, be a business owner, CEO, many of those things, you can pick up a book and read yourself now. I have a watch, right? It's plastic. It does not tell the time, but it always tells me what time it is, right? Because the time is always now. So you can wait, and you can think that you need permission in order for somebody to grant you with the holy grail of granting that you're ready to do a thing, for my hairdressers in the room, or you can get on YouTube now. You can start earning money doing hair now. You can find that basketball and dribble every single day, every morning, every afternoon, every evening, now. Marine biology, you can pick up the books, you can get online and find the information now. Don't wait.
Next.
Who we would tell our younger self?
Yes.
Invest in Apple.
Yes.
Raise your hand if you know anything about investing. Okay, hands down.
But really, I would tell my younger self to learn about the financial markets and about investing. I was not taught any of that as a kid. I had to learn it in my adult life, and it is something that is extremely important for you to be able to do in order to establish wealth. That is the word y'all want to know. Wealth. You know, not income, not cash. Wealth. I had a friend who was in college. I used to play basketball, just not like on the collegiate team, because I didn't have time for all that. But I do something called open gym, and one of the people that I used to play basketball with, consistently, one day we were having a conversation. Now, mind you, we were 19 at the time. And in this conversation, we were probably close to 20, but in this conversation, we started talking about stocks, and that's what you invest in. Well, there are other things, but we're just talking stocks right now. So what he told me was his parents taught him about that, so much so that he had been working since he was 14, but he never had to pay for anything. Every one of his paychecks got invested. And he bought Apple right after Apple went public. And so by the time that we were 20, this man had made like $25,000 in investments. Not doing anything, just invest in the company and watch the company grow. So, you know, we, as parents, we have to do a better job in instructing our kids on personal finances, business finances, investing in the stock market. And so I would have really been able, I would have set myself up a lot better than what I did just by understanding the ins and outs of the financial markets.
Financials for sure. One thing I would say, I would tell my younger self is don't be afraid to meet new people. As you get older, you learn that networking is a big thing in order to, I guess you could say, build your craft in a sense. The more networking you do, the more you learn, the more people you meet, and the more now you're meeting new people, and so now you have connections in different areas. So I definitely say, me growing up, I was always shy. I don't want to talk to them. So communicating and meeting new people is a great thing to do, especially like when you do get into the business field, you're gonna have to network, you're gonna have to talk to people, and as stated before, you're gonna have to communicate. So I would definitely say don't be afraid to meet and talk to new people. Don't feel awkward doing it.
All right. So,
I'm the principal, I was downstairs.
oh, me, sorry.
Oh. What would I tell my younger self? That's something I've never thought about, but I probably would tell her I'm proud of her. That's because, yeah.
Sometimes you need to hear it.
Yeah, sometimes you need to hear I'm proud of you. I pat myself on the back and say, you did that. Why would I tell myself I'm proud? Because everything that they said, they meaning people, the schools, whomever I was around, that I couldn't do, I did. As far as speaking in front of people, I changed that for myself. I was afraid, as she said, to speak in front of people. So what did I do? I enrolled in Second City, and I started doing comedy, and that got me out of my shell. So I was able to talk in front of people. Then I went on to theater, and I loved it. And theater helped me, again, they said I had a learning disability, but through theater, I caught on to stuff, which is interesting because I had fun. So when you have fun, when you're doing something, you're gonna catch on a lot faster. Versus just, I'm gonna play it out into a skit, right? And then I'm gonna remember that skit tomorrow, and oh yeah, I remember when I said, when the door opened, it did that. So I would say to her, like, I'm proud of you, because not only did you go to school, finish school, get your stuff, but you did theater. Everything they said you couldn't do, you did. I've written 4 books. They told me in grade school, I probably had a little learning disability. But now if I went back to them, I'd say, hey, look, 4 books. But I can't read that well. So I would tell her, I'm proud of you. Now, if y'all stay up, they'll wake up. I saw it. Because we're talking about communication and body language. That's very important, because if I see a person in my face that's falling asleep, I'm really not gonna pass your loan.
You're 2 people. You're superstars that you saw were paying the loyalty.
My sister. Oh, we have to huddle
Oh,
up.
yeah,
Don't let my
I thought
Don't.
we each choose two.
Unless
we
you guys
just
wanna
choose
go in
to.
the hallway or pick two,
I
I know how you
thought me
gonna
and
do
the
it.
team
'Cause
was gonna get together and huddle. I'm an
don't
athlete,
even know
so
that
I want
name.
to huddle with my team.
Okay, what do you guys are the champions, so what would you like?
What? How many people were you trying to reward?
Well, I'm gonna give you each two, but if you guys wanna do two collectively, that's fine as well.
Can we huddle?
You
Is
can.
that allowed?
Yes.
Okay, team.
All right, while we're doing that, I want you guys to know that I'm gonna come up to the front. We gotta turn around. Hold on. Church maker. Hold on, here we go. All right, so I want you guys to know, I wanna see who can put it together. Who can, other than the word confidence, figure out how each of their professions go together and make this a cohesive pen. He was actually first.
Like, who like represents like pizza, like thing?
What's the theme between all four of them?
Investment or
You forgot. It's okay. I don't know what is that folding? Oh, it's the pool. Okay. Okay. Just say your thoughts.
eating money. Investment.
1 second. All right. Okay, we're gonna go Simone and Luke, and then, I wanna hear their answer. Simone, what do you think your name was? Hmm? What about you, Luke?
Like they all didn't do what they think they were gonna do when they were younger.
Thank you, brother Luke. Okay, all right, lightning round, what you think?
They all took risks.
Confidence and faith.
Mm-hmm,
They have courage.
okay,
Body language and communication.
okay,
They
more,
believed in themselves.
okay,
They all like followed their dreams.
mm-hmm, yes,
They all took chances.
okay,
They all proved they were wrong.
Luke, you on the road, yes, Thomas?
They all believed in them.
Mm-hmm, did I leave you alone, did you want to say something? No, okay, amen, today, y'all did a good job with that. Excuse me, brother Ryan. All right, I'm eager to hear, what has been your decision? Who are our great stars today?
Well, it was a hard decision to make. But after hours
Deliberating.
deliberating, we've come to a conclusion, I'll pass it down, that
So we said, what's your name?
Me?
Yeah.
Simone.
Simone
Mhm.
was one of our choices.
Yes.
Go with the next few.
Gentleman, literally right next to Simone.
Jacarius.
and we have one more.
Okay, honorable mention.
What am I assuming?
We can do what we want.
Okay.
All right, Lou. Yep. So you doing one or two?
What those were?
Okay.
3.
With just three.
Just 3. All right, thank you guys. You shall get a reward from me on Monday. All right. I appreciate you, Simone, Luke, and Jacarius. My honorable mentions are Terrell, Aiden, Morgan, and Zach. All right, so you guys are in front of 4 exceptional people that are doing amazing things in their industries. To be honest with you, they're in industries where you don't see a lot of people that look like us there. Now, your job was to sit here and pay attention to them and get a feel for their confidence. Do you guys see an example of how confidence shows up in a room when 1, you're doing what you love, 2, you know what you're doing, and 3, you don't mind showing up? These people get paid by the hour. Lots of money. They are sitting here with y'all. Should I pass a collection plate? Y'all ready to try to give them a little something? No. They are here out of a love and joy for the future leaders of the world. All right? The only payment they were looking for is your attention. All right? So I appreciate you guys for that. Every time I get people like you to come out, oh, I'm not gonna cry. It just makes me happy. So, thank you guys for investing in our young people. Not everybody will get it, but the right ones will. So thank you for your time, thank you for your story, and thank you for your journey. Okay? I'm gonna open it up to questions. Anyone have any questions for anyone? Once again, this is Paul, Mom, Denise, and Earaina. Anyone have any questions? Bone dry. All right. Anyone have anything they'd like them to know? No? All right, let me tell y'all something. And this could just be because Jesus has blessed me with the heart of superstardom. You wouldn't be able to sit me in this room right here. And I'd not be like, oh, excuse me, you work at the bank, you a lawyer, you do consulting, you over here give consultations and all kind of things. Excuse me, I want to know how can I get some money? What school do I need to go to? Where can I get an internship? The summertime coming up, I'm gonna be able to work in just a few more months. You wouldn't have been able to stop me from knocking on their doors. Oh no. Little Jessica LaShawn would click her heels and be like, excuse me. None of y'all, just drive.
I'll tell you what it was, is that they were so impacted
Oh, you
in their spirit that it just, everything's soaked right in. They understand it, they feel it. Right?
Yes.
And they didn't have their writing utensils down to write those questions down.
You right.
So there's a little hint, when you're around people, you're in an environment of success, write down notes. I would trust a dull pencil and a piece of paper over the sharpest mind any day.
Ooh,
Right?
just
Any day.
preach it today, brother.
So I'll toss one more thing that will resonate in your spirit. The book is called Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich. What's the name of the book?
Thinking for rich.
Beautiful. One more. How to Win Friends and Influence People. How to win friends and influence people. Boom. It's in their hearts and their spirits. There it is.
Amen. Amen. One more time, just in case you were shy, and you all of a sudden found some confidence. Any questions, comments, concerns? Okay.
No, man.
No? Yes, Zach, come on.
What if somebody like rejects you when you like need like a loan and your business is like going down?
You said if someone rejects you, if you're applying for a loan, well, hopefully that person that tells you that your application is rejected, they let you know what you need to do in order to get approved the next time you come in. And if they don't, I would just say find the next person. Don't just stop there. There's other people that will be able to help you, but that person should be able to give you advice like, hey, your loan was rejected. However, let me tell you what you need to do so when you come back, we can get this loan approved.
Okay.
Good question, good question.
And I want to answer your question in a little bit of a broader sense. Just what happens if you get rejected? Understand that in life you're gonna hear many more no's than you will yes. No just means you gotta find another route. Or not right now. But no does not mean stop.
Okay. Terrell, yes.
Have you had any people that you didn't know throughout life that has helped you to just being successful?
I'll jump in on that one. Just recently, a gentleman knew because I spoke up in an event. We ended up having a conversation after that. This was in April. I met him at another conference in May where we were both invited by the CEO of the company to have dinner together. I didn't know he was going to be at the dinner. He didn't know I was going to be at the dinner. And we both ended up at this dinner together. Part of the networking that she's talking about and presenting yourself well. That turned into an invite to a private gathering of masterminds in the insurance world where, again, employee benefits is where you offer health insurance to a company. These people pay $2,000 a month to sit in that room. I got invited in as a special guest and paid nothing. And then just a couple months after that, because he knew that I was, again, I spoke up, right? He knew that I was transitioning my business from an individual practice, like one policy at a time, to a group of people at the same time. I got a $27,000 scholarship to that very same mastermind. So I just got a $30,000 investment into my business. I'm rounding up. A $30,000 investment into my business, just like that. All because I spoke up.
Yeah, but it was just like that.
Well, true.
He put it in work.
And I put it in work, and again, I continue to show up. I continue to speak up, and somebody recognize that and say, hey, I see where you're going. I'm also going to lift you up. Right? So, absolutely. There are those people out there, and it takes for you, like the gentleman said, sad dog doesn't wag its own tail. Start wagging your tail. You're very welcome. Great question.
Just like Zach, he's also great at speaking, and he has a gift for that. He's being shy right now. Yes. Thank you, Terrell. That is awesome. Anybody else? Okay. What's second? Carlton was first. Yes, Carlton.
What kind of pressure do you guys go through doing this?
Good question. You said what type of pressure do you go through doing this? Oh, yeah.
He's just in here beating y'all up.
They just growing.
I mean, a lot. For a couple reasons. One, you know, as Jessica mentioned, we work in industries where there aren't a lot of faces that are like ours, and so when you're put in that type of environment, if you're built right, you want to excel. You want to make sure that you are on top of your game. And unfortunately, there are environments where people will try to count you out, and they will make you feel like you don't belong. And so that pressure is heavy. I think I'm correct in saying this. I think that we all put pressure on ourselves to be the best version of us that we can be. If somebody else has greater expectations for you than you have for yourself, then there's a problem. And so you gotta wake up every day and push yourself. Every day. That's that discipline, right? So people who excel in their field, in their industry, are like that because they set high expectations for themselves, and with that comes a lot of pressure.
Gentleman right in front.
Like, it's like the same thing that he just said, but like, have you ever helped anyone with their business?
Me personally, I can honestly say that I have. It's been some clients that I've had where they felt like the business was a failure and they just wanted to give up because they didn't have that assistance or they didn't know who to talk to. So me being their go-to person, I was able to pretty much let them know, like, hey, like, you got this, like, keep going. Sometimes you just need that person to motivate you. You may not have a family member that'll motivate you, so sometimes you have to get it from somewhere else or even from yourself at times. But I can honestly say that I have helped a bunch of business owners grow their business and even keep their business going.
Piggyback on that one just real quick. A young lady that I've worked with at that first health insurance company where I was working before going to that health insurance company, she's still there. And after I left, we just stayed in contact. She'd ask me how to navigate certain conversations, certain meetings, because I'd seemed to excel through that path relatively quickly. She was just featured in Crane's magazine, still working at the same company, full-page article, spoken again by her. And I think last week, they just did a newscast or whatever, news clipping on her on television. So giving back, again, being really important. If you've learned how to navigate something, you turn around and you help other people to navigate that same thing. And for a minority woman in the field of insurance to operate at that level, who's now in a national publication as well as on television, Yeah, I think she's doing fairly well, but again, it's that giving back so that she knew that she had the confidence to do it and not have to, again, be granted some special permission. Our clarinetist, is that the right way to say that, clarinetist?
Have you ever like lost all your courage or felt like just getting up?
Yes.
Yeah, short answer, yes.
So I will now tell a story. When I was 21. Well, I'll start this way. I grew up a mama's boy. I told y'all, single parent household. I did everything to make my mom's life easier. Like the stuff that I was doing as a kid was to make it easier. I mean, I talked to my mom on the phone every day. And so my mom was like my best friend. Like the love that I had for my mom could not express it in words. July 9th, 2009, my mom unexpectedly and tragically passed away. It was the summer before I started law school, and I did not want to go to law school after that. It was the hardest time in my life. It was the hardest thing to deal with, and I was in the hospital room with her when she passed away, and that was an experience that I don't wish on anybody, but you know, it's one of those life tragedies where I had to take a step back and I had to understand and realize that the world keeps spinning, and you know, tragedies happen, tragic you know, situations come, but you can't stop forward motion always. You can't stop. So that was the biggest thing that I would have.
I'll answer that question in not necessarily a narrative, but just a piece of advice, is that when that moment happens for you, because it will happen for you, right? At some point in time, for everybody that's going to do something great or average, whatever it is, right? When that moment happens, keep going. Keep going. Because I'm sure all of us can attest, every adult in here can attest, the worst thing that could ever happen to us has happened to a degree, and we're all still here. We're all still here. So when it happens, keep going.
Do you have like any other businesses like y'all are working with?
Short answer, yes. I'm setting this up, I'm gonna actually talk to Ms. LaShawn about how to market it, but a tutoring business. So I do also work in classroom settings, and I thought from that, I said, wait a second, my son is 11 years old, he's in a gifted program, and he's been the youngest, he's 7th grade, mind you, so you all kind of figure out the math. He's been the youngest in his class and the smartest in his class since he started school. And that's not because of just some difference of his brain chemically versus anybody else in the classroom. It's because of what was put into him from the time that he was 3. You ask my son right now, what is he? He'll say, I'm a leader, strong, respectful, smart, amazing, and happy. And I say, and every day. He says, every day and every way I'm getting better and better. I ask him what 3 important things are. He says, reading, writing, speaking. I say, give me 3 more. He says, learning, growing, thinking. I say, give me 3 more. He says, hard work, sacrifice, and discipline. Mind you, he's 11. Okay? We've been doing this for years. So what I realized is that if you put into and pour into children at a young age, it will start coming out of them as they get older, and they don't even know why. So I treated my son as a science experiment, basically. And my science experiment was to how can I program him for success without him knowing? And that's what we've been doing now for the last 8 years. So if I can do it for one, I can do it for a few more. So I decided that I'm going to start a tutoring business so that I can pour and talk.
Can't hear you. You gotta speak up something.
This is, when did you find out that this is what you wanted to do?
For me, when I found out it was something that I wanted to do was when I saw how many people I was able to actually help. When I was able to give them that knowledge that I had that they didn't know, and that was like my key to basically keep me going and help other people. So once I saw that I was able to help and make a difference, that was when I knew, okay, this is your role, this is your calling, this is what you should be doing.
Have you ever had like any aggressive people?
Long
Like,
time.
have you asked, like, oh, if I can have a own, or maybe help you, or just like people more aggressive on you?
I have, and usually it's just how you carry the conversation. So at that point, if you start to get too aggressive, then at that point I can't help you. If you're not trying to listen to me and hear what I'm trying to tell you in order to get what it is that you need, how are you planning to run a business? Like, you're not even trying to listen to me as a banker. So how are you gonna listen to your customers or your clients? Like, so you do have those that get overly aggressive, and you just have to nip that in the bud instantly.
Can I expound upon that just a little bit? I don't know if this is what Thomas was trying to touch on in a certain kind of way, but culturally, there are different ways that we communicate with people that we are friends with, that we are family members with, rather than people that we work with, people that provide us services and things like that. There's a different dynamic of how you communicate. I just want to add, talk to someone, talk to your parents. You can even talk to me, talk to your teachers. Ask how you navigate that, because you're at an age now where how you communicate and how you are received by others is important, as well as making sure that you're not aggressive and that you're not allowing anyone to be aggressive with you. So having those conversations, acting those skits out will be very important for you at this age, okay? Just wanted to add that. And as far as helping people, I just want to give y'all a shout out, just a little bit. I've actually been on a few events with you. I've seen you network and navigate and do some amazing things in your industry. I appreciate you for that. But I want to thank Miss Earaina for helping out with Mogul Academy. That's one of the ways that she gives back, not only to me, but to you guys, and helping to stand in the gap sometimes and provide assistance, sharing her experience and expertise. Recently, Mr. Flowers spoke of his experience as a parent participating in a Mogul Academy event, and that helped get me another partnership, and I truly appreciate him for that. And I can't even tell you how many times this man saved me in my business. He's also partnered with us to just, I can't even, one thing he's done is he's made sure to bring up our organization in rooms where I was not at. So I appreciate that. Thank you for helping me get Disney off my back. Thank you for when the roof fell in. Thank you for all of that, and I appreciate you all. So, because I have a rapport with them and also a rapport with people connected to them, they came out today. This is what networking is about. This is what friendships happens to be about, okay? You just don't ask people to do stuff for you. You build with them. You have a common core about values with them, okay? So, we're gonna close it out. I wanna thank y'all. Anything y'all wanna say to them? Yes.
Like, how do you do, this is my last question. How do you do a good deed in the world?
Okay.
Find a void and fill it.
Ooh, okay.
Find a void, meaning an empty space, like a space where you can add your expertise and give it away. The short version, another piece of my origin story, 22 seconds worth. Part of the moment where I realized that the question we had, how do you know that this is the thing you want to do, was when in 2015, I was on the phone with the lady. She was 50-something years old. had so many questions about her health insurance, and I answered every single one of them. And after the end of that conversation, she cried on the phone. Now, I'm an employee, I'm thinking I'm gonna get in trouble because this lady's crying on the phone. But it wasn't tears of upset, it was tears because no one had ever taken the time to actually explain it to her in a way that she could understand. So from that, I said, there's the void, right? Was that empty space of knowledge. I can actually communicate in a way that I can fill that void. So I actually started a 501c3, a not-for-profit, where its sole purpose is to provide free education about health insurance to people, especially if they're transitioning out of work from one place to another, so that they know what the options are that are available to them. Find the void and fill it.
And I would say it has to feel genuine. Don't do it because you are expecting something back. Like, do it because your heart is telling you, I should be doing this. I need to do this.
Not at the same time. When it comes to the work that you do, make sure that you are getting value. You're getting your value and getting what you work, because there are a lot of people out here. There are a lot of people out here that will try to take advantage of you and will try to get you to do free stuff, favors. And so you have to know when to be charitable versus when to get your money. And most times you gotta get your money.
I mean, you need to be in tune with yourself and who you are. Because you can feel when someone is trying to use you versus when a person really needs you. So you want to make sure you know you first. That's the biggest thing, right? And then when you go out to do service work for somebody, you know that you're putting in work for someone that's going to appreciate it. So, know yourself.
What's the word of the day? 1, 2, 3?
Confidence.
All right. So thank you guys so much. I'm going to let you guys mingle, ask questions directly to them, say hi, walk up to them. If anyone wants to share a special thank you for a video I'm going to send to them, you can line up right here. We're only going to do this for about 3 minutes, and then you can go on about your business. So anyone that wants to say thank you on the video, you can come right here.
Well, before we dismiss, I just want to say thank you to Ms. LaShawn, and I'll just tell you the principal.
Yes, this is Dr. Jackson,
Dr. Jackson, for having us, and thank all
Thank
of you
you.
young folks who have stayed with us throughout this time. It's not easy to sit and see all day or for any duration of time, right? We get it. So thank you for enjoying this particular movie that says you can do it too.
Amen. All right, you guys can mingle. Okay. Simone, come with me for a second. All right. All right. You just say what you want to say. I'll give you about 30 seconds.
Thank you for coming and telling us about you guys.
Okay. Thank you, baby. Tell the next person to come out. Come right here. All right. Go ahead and say what you want to say.
Thank you for coming.
Okay, cool. Tell the next person to come out.
Next person.
Yay. All right. Stand right there and tell them whatever you want to say. If you have more than just thank you, that would be great too.
Thank you for all your help. Thank you also for making sure that we know what we're going to do in our adulthood. So I like to appreciate and thank you for what you have given us, so we can remember what we need to do to memorize for our life.
Amen. Tell them who's next to come out. You're next? Oh, this is going to be good. All right, baby, you can tell them thank you or anything else that you want to add on anything that you took away from it.
All right, thank you for like letting me actually tell you like what I wanted to actually be, and the actual fact that I wanted to be an Evo champion. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to, because Sonic and Ninja are still out there. But the full thing is, thank you very much for teaching me about business. I look forward to see you future in my life. Right? So, peace.
Thank you. Tell whoever's next.
Next.
Anybody else? That's the end of the line. That's it. Anybody behind you? No? Okay, cool. Okay,
No.
come. All right, Aiden, you can say thank you for coming, or you can add anything that you took away from it, whatever you'd like to share.
Thank you for coming to the classroom.
All right, thank you,
Helped
baby.
us a lot.
Aw. Thank you. All right. Can I get a group picture, guys? Can I get a group picture? Over here on the out. Tall people in the back. Get a group picture with you guys. Back there on that wall. All right, come on, guys. Let's do a group picture.
I'm standing back here like, let's.
All right, you guys getting this?
Yeah, this baby has a great idea. Dr. Jackson, you gonna get in there?
No? Hey guys, let's calm down a little bit. Let's spread it out a little bit. We got a chunk of tall people right here. Just spread it out. Kalia, go towards Mr. Paul. Morgan, go towards Mr. Paul. Keep going. Keep going. Spread it out.
Can you get this?
Good job. Alrighty.
Wait,
I gotta get everybody in there.
should we
All right.
swoosh in?
Nope. All right, on the count of 3, say Mogul Academy. Woo, you guys look beautiful. I'm finna do a pen. Oh, yeah.
He wasn't ready.
All right, we'll try again. I want to do my little pen right there. All right, 1, 2, 3. Mogul Academy. Woo, you guys sound amazing. All right, thank you so